Tape marker, Freaky Tales Review, guys. Get right to it. Action.
Alamo City Movie Talk fans, as always, I am your host, Ryan G. Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that Ange.
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. You know what to do, guys. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to us on our Alamo City Movie Talk page. And thank you for making us a part of it. But let's get right to it. It's been a little break. We've had kind of... CinemaCon is happening. It's happening as we speak right now. So we've been kind of posting a little bit here and there. But now, I mean, let's get right to it. We got a movie review ready to talk about movies all over again. Let's get right to it. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, what a great way to start off April. Happy April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
It's April 1st. I just still can't believe we're already in April.
Yeah.
I mean, we're already a third of the way into the year. And what better way to start off with this freaky movie. It's called Freaky Tales. Mm-hmm. So 4 interconnected stories set in 1987 Oakland will tell about the love of music, movies, people, places, and memories beyond our knowable universe.
Yeah.
So I know going in, we're going to preface this, did not know anything about this movie.
Yeah.
But Ryan, get us started. What were your first thoughts about this film?
So my first thoughts about this movie is that it pays a lot of homage really to the 1980s of the filming, especially the cinema style that it was filmed in. We saw a few glimpses into the 80s filming style and everything, and I love that. I really adore that. It brought us back to the home bases of what cinema was back then. You know, obviously we were born in the early 90s, and so like we never really got to experience movies like Back to the Future when it first came out, or just fantastic films like Rocky that first came out and premiered in theaters and everything. So we didn't get to experience that. We missed out. Or Star Wars, especially, which we do love.
My dad saw it
adore.
Yeah, when it first came out.
It really paid a lot of just cinema lovers and everything that really just enjoy the movies and enjoy the movie theater experience that it was back then, because they never saw anything that incredible. It didn't have CGI, more so like animatronic, like Jurassic Park, even more so. And just, of course, Planet of the Apes was another one where, like, how did they get the apes to talk? I remember seeing a few glimpses here, and it's just like, oh, the makeup was just so spot on, amazing.
It was a different time.
That's the beauty of cinema and the beauty of movie magic. And so going into this movie, I was like very, very surprised how good it had. It reminds me a lot, I'll tell you right now, it reminds me a lot of a slight nod to Quentin Tarantino style a little bit.
Sure.
And we saw that. I mean, we have neo-Nazis in here. We have punk kids in here. We have, what do you call it?
Like, what do you call him? Retired hitman?
Yeah, retired hitman. But what do you call him? Pedro Pascal, what do you call him?
You mean Zaddy?
Zaddy, yeah. So we have Zaddy. It's just, I really do love Pedro Pascal. I love him. He's a great actor, amazing great actor. And so it was really cool to see him do this. I feel like it was more of a passion project because of the 80s style and everything, and we got to see that. So I'm gonna say I really enjoyed this movie. I also enjoyed the filming the way it was. We see 4 different connections set in the 1980s in Oakland, California, and 4 different stories here that really interconnect to each other. It almost feels like a small mini TV series in a way, but it kind of connects it to where it generally flows very, very well and very natural in my point of view. Granted, there's a lot of scenes that kind of I was like, okay, and just I feel like the story kind of in the third act kind of shifted a little bit, but then it stayed back on focus towards the last, like I want to say the last 15-20 minutes, but I really enjoyed this movie. Had a pleasantly good time watching this. I just wish I would have seen this in a movie theater to have the full theater experience here. But what did you think of this movie, Angela?
So I will say that one of the things that stood out was a lot of the familiar faces we saw.
Yeah.
I know you already mentioned Pedro Pascal, but we also get, I think it's Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah, Mendelsohn, yes.
Director Krennic.
Yes. Director Krennic, yeah.
We also get, surprisingly, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and then he makes a cameo in here. And then he was so great.
One of my favorites was seeing Angus Cloud again.
Yes.
I think this was, he had filmed this, I think in the early 2023.
Yeah.
I think he filmed Abigail a little bit later on, and unfortunately he passed away in July 2023. But it was really surprising to see him in here, and I just loved all the cast. And you're right, like all these stories connect in a weird way you would never think of.
So it was filmed in November 14, 2022 to January 12, 2023. So there you go. Yeah.
So it was. Love. He was great. Good actor. And, actor. So promising, and taken so young. But I really liked seeing him again. I loved all the rest of the cast. Like you said, Tom Hanks had that small cameo, which was surprising. You're like, what? And you see all these stories just kind of in connecting ways you didn't really think of, like. You really have to pay attention in this film to kind of get some of the small connections that you'll miss, because they really do. It's even like maybe the same night or the same couple days that they just mix.
I think it's 2 days.
Yeah, something like that. And it's really like you say, you have to pay attention to kind of get what's going on.
With the last scene,
and it will all like as most of the stories go, it makes more sense.
Yes.
Which I will say, I think it picked up. It did kind of lull a little bit. Second act, a little bit. Third act,
the pacing kind of slowed down a little bit.
But overall, it was a pretty well done film. I will preface this by saying it is out there. Yeah. I hope that everyone does give this movie a chance, but I do see where it may not be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
It definitely does err on the side of risks. I think they paid off, because I think it's really good storytelling to have all these pieces kind of come together the way they did, and it done very well. It makes sense.
Even the soundtrack is really good. I really like the soundtrack was great. And the rap between the girls, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. That was really cool. Again, and it focuses a lot on the Bay City area of the 80s, and it really, you could tell that from the rap, because when NWA, it just, a lot of it paid homage
the
to
NBA
it.
Star. So it's like characters you didn't think that would interact in a way. And like I said, also I think it was narrated by Too Short. That was pretty interesting. So again, I really liked it. It is a little out there, but I do hope, like you said, you give it a chance, kind of take it with a grain of salt, like just watch it, watch it, don't read into it. I think it's a very fun movie. It really, like I said, I think the risk really paid off.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I again, we went in not watching a trailer even. I think we just saw the poster, and I was just like, okay, this looks like a pretty trippy movie, and eventually it was. It's unorthodox at certain times, but it's for its own right. I feel like it's trying to be out there, and it takes a risk. It's an original story that takes a risk, and I appreciate that. That one Tom Hanks scene, though, I have to talk about that scene. That scene is pure cinema magic, because of the fact that they're talking about movies and they're going back and forth, and it's just your top 5 or something to go. And I love that. I love it when we talk about movies. I just love talking about film.
I thought it was hilarious that they were prominent movie stars talking about
A-list movie stars talking about films.
In a movie.
In a blockbuster almost.
In a blockbuster-esque movie store.
Yeah. and I keep forgetting that. And again, we go back to where like it paid homage, it paid respect to that certain era, that time where it wasn't just regular blockbuster movies, was actually by the curtain. That's legit. Was porn videos.
Was adult movies.
Yeah, adult movies. You remember? I don't even remember that. That's just like, because we were Blockbuster era. They didn't have that at Blockbuster.
They did not have that.
I think
that's the only movie star I remember is Blockbuster. I think I still have somewhere in this.
And then Hollywood Video. Oh man,
I remember Hollywood Video being the competitor. Yeah, but still we went to Blockbuster.
Okay, so you were a Blockbuster kid.
I do. I still have my Blockbuster card somewhere.
Hell yeah.
And I know there's a Blockbuster somewhere out there that's still open.
One left. I think it's like an Airbnb.
Yeah, something like that. So that would be cool to stay in. But again, I agree with you. I think it's very homage to the 80s. It's a really cool film, to be honest. I like the makeup design set. Some of the things that happen. Some of the effects, I guess, like you say, makeup effects, special effects,
the blood effects,
gore, because there is a little bit of that.
It
very kinda, well. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I'll say that it's definitely different. It's not your normal. It's not like Quentin Tarantino, where it's just blood gushing everywhere. It's just more so of like has this effect, glamour, blood, tear effect. I don't know. It's weird. You guys will know what we're talking about.
I think out of all the stories, my favorite was the Punks story.
Same here. Cool. I think the Punks was my favorite out of all the stories. But again, though, I did love that scene between Tom Hanks and Pedro Pascal. So I just love it.
And then the NBA star.
That was
I think the last story. That was good too.
All right, guys. Well, let's go to ratings real quick. What are you going to give this rating, Angela? 1 out of 10. 10 be the highest. When you give this rating,
I would give this a solid 7.5 because it was a really good film. I think, like I said, it did drag a little bit at some moments, but overall it was a pretty solid film. Cast was great. The story, took a risk, but it paid off from my end, and I think it deserves a 7.5. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm going to give it the same thing. I'm going to give it 7.5 as well. I felt like it was right where it needs to be, my rating and everything. And I just enjoyed a lot of the special effects we got out of here. I enjoyed the scenes between the two characters. I enjoyed a lot of the storytelling, different storytelling, and then connecting at the very end, or really making sense of it all, because you really kind of like, wait, where does this, like, does it ends it? And then you're like, oh, that's how he found out. That's how she found out. That's how it could. And so I love that. I love it when it shows us a little bit more of a backstory to where they found the answer to and where that story really ends.
That's pretty cool. Clever.
Yeah, I really did love that. It's really good storytelling. And so I had a good time watching this movie. And I do encourage every single one of you guys to go check this out at a theater near you guys. And all right. Question is for you guys. What do y'all guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. What do you guys think of this movie? And as always, I am your host, Ryan D. Ryan680.
I'm Angela. That Cat
See you at the movies. Laters.